Oh, it's filming. Okay, cool. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Guess what we're talking about today? Disney. More specifically Aladdin and the new Aladdin remake live action. But first, let me explore some things about what I'm wearing. Obviously I had to dress up. I mean, I had to pull out like my only Disney stuff that I have. Although I do have some Disney shirts, but whatever, it's besides the point. So yeah, I had to put my ears on, I got my magic band on, even though I'm currently in Michigan and thousands of miles away from Disney and have no plans to go anytime soon, although I might go in March, maybe. And I'm also wearing my Disney birthday pin, and this one is actually, get boob shot there. This is actually from, 12 years ago. I think it's 12 years ago when I went for my 17th birthday. They give you a little pin to wear and you walk around the park and everybody says happy birthday to you. My friend Wendy and I bust out our birthday pins whenever we go to Disney, even if it's not our birthdays. Because we're celebrating our birthdays. I mean, if you're at Disney, I feel like you should just be like, yeah, it's my birthday, and this is my birthday present that I'm spending all of this money. So that's basically what you're doing. So yeah, I got a Starbucks one time for free. We got some baklava for free. One time a guy pulled us over. I think we were at the President's Hall in America in Epcot, and this guy pulled us over and was like, oh, there's someone on the phone for you. I'm like, oh, okay. So he takes us over to this phone. You say hello, and then it's Goofy, and he's there, and he's like, you know, talking on the phone, wishing you happy birthday. So it's so cool. Or I think he was wishing us happy birthday. He said hi. I mean, it was so nice of him and so thoughtful that he knew that I was gonna be right at America, the President's Hall, to wish me happy birthday, or at least say hi. I mean, so thoughtful of Goofy. Anyway, so yeah, we haven't gotten anything super big, you know, for our birthdays, our unbirthdays. I mean, yeah, that's basically what it is. And, but you know, a girl can hope. A girl can hope that one day maybe they'll come up to us and be like, hey, do you want to stay in Cinderella's castle? And we'll be like, yes, we do want to stay in Cinderella's castle. Of course we do. I mean, why would you not ask us that, right? Two girls celebrating their unbirthdays. So, you know, go to Disney and wear your birthday pin, even if it's not your birthday. You know, you might get asked to stay in Cinderella's castle, or you might just get a free Starbucks out of it. Who knows? Anyway, moving on to today's topic. So, normally I do book chats. You know, I've done like one of them. Okay, the idea when I first started making those videos was I was only going to talk about books that I have read, and let's talk about them, let's, you know, feel all the feels together and all of that stuff. But I kind of realized something. I really like movies. So, and I've been watching a bunch of like video essays about like kind of analyzing and breaking down different movies and like talking about their history, and that's been super, super great. If you want to check some of those out, Lindsay Ellis is a really good one. Jenny Nicholson is another one that I've really enjoyed a lot of their video essays anyway. So I'm like, you know what? I could talk about movies. Like we could start a discussion about a movie. And why not? Like, why not take the opportunity to do that? Because we all love books and we all love movies. So, and what better to start with than a Disney movie, and one that just came out. So, yeah. So here we are. We're talking about Aladdin today, because obviously the new live action movie of Aladdin just came out on video. I'm really dating myself. I'm not that old. Came out on video, VHS, you know, all the things. I think now it would be like digital or DVD or. So, you know, it's out for the world to buy and watch at your leisure. And so now I'm celebrating that by talking about it. I have notes, so alrighty. So things I liked. Obviously the visuals were beautiful, like so well done. Guy Ritchie was great. That is the director of this movie. I've seen some of his other movies and I when I saw he was directing this, a little surprised, but he did such a great job. I thought the music was really well done. Obviously, they had all of the, you know, classics in there. You know, they obviously were revamped and, you know, added a little like swag in there, or, you know, little hip hop action, especially with Will Smith. So funny when the movie first was starting and Will Smith is, you know, in that beginning scene with his kids, and he starts singing. I was like, oh, please don't start singing. And like, I knew there was gonna be singing because it's Aladdin, but I was like, oh my gosh, I hate it when actors who can't sing try to sing. And then so he starts singing, you know, imagine a place. Okay, I'm not gonna sing, but he starts the song, and I was like, oh, Will Smith, she's actually a pretty good singer. And then freaking duh, I was just listening, like literally probably the day before was listening to Get Jiggy With It.
Bring it.
Or Men in Black or whatever, because I mean 90s Pandora is always on at my house. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm an idiot, obviously. He knows how to sing. He's a good singer. So now him being cast as the genie makes even more sense. So anyway, I really liked that they gave Jasmine her own song, because I thought that was really, I mean, obviously it's a great song, super catchy, and then has a lot to do with her arc and her subplot that she has, you know, going on in the movie too. So I loved that. I thought it was really well cast for the most part. We'll put a pin in that. So Jasmine I thought was really well cast. I loved her as Jasmine. Aladdin I think was really well cast. I like could totally see him. Sometimes I felt like his voice was a little, I don't want to say whiny because it wasn't whiny, but like nasally, high pitched, I don't know. It just was like, it was a little off sometimes for me for Aladdin, because we are used to seeing, what's that guy's name? You know, the guy from Full House. Steve. Oh, okay. His name in Full House was Steve. That's not his real name. Sorry, whatever your name is. I don't know your real name. So we're so used to hearing Steve from Full House's voice that we got this new guy, and it's just a little different. He obviously looked just like Aladdin, perfect, spot on for, you know, the visual there. And his voice was fine. I got used to it by the end of the movie. The genie. I know I'm probably gonna get a lot of trolls mad at me for this, but hear me out. So I watched an interview, I think it was with the director. They knew that they were never going to be able to replicate what Robin Williams did as the genie. Obviously, all hail Robin Williams as genie.
Fabulous, Harry. I love the feather.
I mean, there's no arguing it. He was a wonderful genie, and no one will ever be able to replicate that or even pay homage to it. So they decided to, rather than pissing everyone off by trying to replicate that and failing miserably, they said, okay, well, obviously we're still making this movie, and obviously we still have to have the genie, because that would be weird if it didn't. So they were like, okay, let's just take this a completely different direction. So we're not touching anything Adam Sandler did. Adam Sandler. Oh my gosh. Not. Oh Lord help me. Not Adam Sandler. Oh my gosh. Not Adam. Oh man. Oh. Oh, it's nothing like what Robin Williams did, but that's okay, because it's now what Will Smith did. And I thought Will Smith did a really good job. He made it his own. He made it his own kind of like swagger, like I said, like hip-hop-y character, especially with the music and everything too. Getting into Jasmine a little bit more, I love that they included some of her backstory and like stuff about her mom. It kind of reminded me of what they did with Cinderella, where they kind of showed her backstory with her mother and how she died and everything, and that gets me every time. I really loved that That was kind of interweaved into the story, especially in the beginning when, we'll get into this later in plot and structure, where the inciting incident is where she wants to give the kids, is it an apple or bread? I can't remember, one or the other. And he pretends like he's gonna, you know, give her bracelet for it and like for the payment. And then, he does the little switcheroo and then she ends up leaving it at his house. So I like that that was like involved in the story and like moving the plot forward. I thought that was really good. And then I just loved Jasmine's like subplot of like, yeah, I can do this. Like I can lead the country and, you know, I can have a voice and I can have a role in the country that I love. Okay, remember that pin that we put in characters or casting that I thought was well done? Well, not all of it do I think was well done. Jafar, I'm sorry. Really? Like, that's who you got. Okay. Jafar in the original was like just this man that just demanded attention and respect. Like when he walked into a room, you knew he was someone important. Not because you knew who he was and like, oh yeah, like that's the brazier, whatever, like this is who he is. No, he walked into that room and demanded respect because he was tall. His voice was like bellowing. He had like this goatee thing. He had the whole thing. And I mean, I get like he's the cartoon and they created him and drew him to be that way, but that's how you cast a character, is like to be that. And again, the voice thing, I don't know why I'm so hopped up on people's voices, because normally they don't really affect me, but I guess like, I mean, when you have a cartoon, the voice is very important because that is the only part of a person that you get on screen is voice. You know, obviously the rest of it, we are not seeing the actual person. So I feel like they really did not do him homage because his voice is like soft and I don't know, I don't want to say wimpy, but kind of. He doesn't look like he's walking in and commanding a room. It looks like he's got a butch cut and he's just coming in to, I don't know, deliver the paper. I feel like Jafar was he just wasn't even a villain to me. Like he wasn't somebody that I'm just gonna look at and be scared of. So anyway, I feel like they could have cast Jafar a lot better. The Sultan, I mean, he was okay. I just remember the Sultan being like this, like kind of fluffy grandpa, like even, you know, Santa Claus-y-ish kind of guy, like where you're like, oh, the Sultan, like, you know, yeah, he's so nice. And just complete opposite of Jafar. Really wonderful parallel between like somebody who's very controlling and very reigning in a room compared to this fluffy, lovable guy who is kind of a pushover and doesn't take reign or control of the room or situation. But anyway, got the point across, whatever. So let's talk about a couple characters that were a little meh. So Iago, I really am sad about Iago. I mean, how could you do that? Like, I feel like he wasn't even a character. I feel like he was just an extra. I don't know. Yeah, I guess I would say an extra. I couldn't even call him a secondary character. Maybe a tertiary character? Is that a word? I mean, I know that's a word. Is that a thing? Are tertiary characters things? I just remember him at the end like flying around to do something. Was it to like get Aladdin when he was flying away? I think that's when it was, like towards the end of the movie. Like that's the biggest part that I remember him playing in the movie. We don't get the funny banter between Iago and Abu and the carpet. We don't get anything funny from Iago at all. And when I look back at Aladdin from when I was a kid, like I kind of think of Iago, I don't really think of Iago as a bad guy. I know he is. I know that he's Jafar's right-hand man, but like he was funny. Like when he was like walking around with the flamingos, pretending to be a flamingo.
You got a problem, Jiggy?
We just didn't get any of that funny stuff. Apparently his only role was to chase Aladdin around towards the end of the movie, and that was pretty much it. He's a pretty forgettable character. Speaking of forgettable, the carpet, I mean, okay, there's tertiary characters. Is there fourthful character? Fourthful? I don't know. He wasn't even, again, like, he wasn't even a character. He barely served a role. They were in the Cave of Wonders, and he helped them get out of there. Did he help Aladdin get out of the water at the end, or like towards the end? See, again, like, what role is he playing in the original? Like, there were so many little funny parts where the carpet was like in on it. Genie and him were like, hey, rub man, or whatever. Just remember all of those moments. When you think of Aladdin, the carpet is one of them. Iago is one of them. Abu. These are big characters that like did not get a lot of screen time, did not get any real big role or like pivotal moment to like move the plot forward. Jasmine's like assistant or whatever kind of took that role on. I feel like the genie took on like a bigger role as well. I don't know if there was really anyone else. I feel like those characters were just forgotten about and just, I don't know. So kind of sad. And then I feel like Abu was a big part of this movie, and I was really happy about that because Abu should be a big part of Aladdin. And I mean, how could you not love like a little capuchin monkey? And he was so sweet and wanting to steal things, which was great because that is Abu. The only thing that I will say that's a little nitpicky about Abu is I just remember in the original Aladdin, I kind of feel like he played a bigger part or a part in the movie after he turned into an elephant. Like, I just remember him trying to like put his little hat on and, you know, use his big paws or whatever you call elephant feet, like put his hat on. And, you know, he was like sad when Aladdin, you know, sent them away, and he put the lamp in his hat at a darker point in the movie. So I think there could have definitely been some more work and some more time spent on the other tertiary characters. Overall, it was still really enjoyable to watch. A fun ride on your carpet with your lamp. Obviously, I enjoyed it. My friends, I don't want to say my friends drug me to it, but I probably wouldn't have seen it if I wouldn't have went with my friends, because my husband definitely didn't want to see it, and then I was kind of like, it looks okay. I'm not a huge fan of all the remakes or the live action remakes, so unless it's like they do a really good job and they also add in extra things that are really like that are new, like Maleficent. Freaking love Maleficent because it's a new story told from the different point of view. It's brand new information to us. Whereas if you just like copy and paste what was already done, I mean, why am I watching this? I could just go watch what you made back in the 90s and did a great job on. All right, moving on to plot and structure. So I was kind of inspired to make this video because I had a chat with one of my friends about the plot and structure of Aladdin. And so I thought, why not, you and I talk about it. If you don't know what plot and structure is, it's basically a plot is what the purpose or the point of a story is, or a movie. And then structure is how it's told, like in what order you tell the story. And then the beats that you have, like you have this come before this. You have a problem, you have to solve the problem, then you have the climax, and then you have the resolution. So that's kind of the structure. There is more to it, and we'll kind of talk about that. When you first have a story or a movie, you have to have an inciting incident. So something that happens in the story that is out of the ordinary, that like for that world, for that time, would be not a normal everyday thing to happen. In Aladdin, the inciting incident is when Aladdin and Jasmine are at the market, and then Jasmine gives, I can't remember, bread or an apple to the kids, and then the guy wants to kill or cut off Jasmine's hand for it because she doesn't have any money to pay for it. And then Aladdin does like the switcheroo. So to me, that's an inciting incident because it's not every day that like you save someone from being, you know, killed or having their hand cut off. So to me, that's an inciting incident, and it's also something that moves the plot forward because we have that bracelet that Abu ends up taking, and then Aladdin has to make the decision to go to the palace or keep it for himself. And so that brings us to the next beat, or the next point, is door number 1. So I know a lot of people have different terms for all of the beats in movies, so I'm just going to call this door number 1, or what is taking us from act 1 of the book or movie into act 2. And so according to the book Plot and Structure by James Scott Bell, which I would highly recommend, so good for learning plot and structure, door number 1, so moving us from act 1 into act 2 of the book or movie, the main character has to make a decision about something that will move him into that next act. And it's a decision that they'll have to make that after they make it, they really won't be able to go back on it. So the decision that he has to make is, should I take this bracelet back to her, or should I just keep it and pawn it? And then I'll just keep going about my life as I was. So that's door number 1, is he, obviously he chose to go and take the bracelet back and also like pursue this. Like, I think there was a definite decision of, he wasn't just going to take her bracelet back. I think he was also like, okay, I'm interested in this girl. Like, let's hear more about, the princess's assistant. So anyway, the dark moment is when Aladdin is back at his home and he thinks all is lost. He's not a prince anymore. Jafar is taking over the palace, etc. And then again, we have door number 2. So this is bringing us from the middle act, act 2, into act 3. And again, the main character has to make a decision, and whatever decision they make, they can't turn back from it. So if he decided to stay home, well, then there's his decision, and Jafar would take over, Agrabah and everywhere. But if he decides to go, back to the palace and save everyone, defeat Jafar, all of those things, then that obviously is a decision that he made. And then obviously the climax is when Aladdin defeats Jafar and everybody's saved and the genie is free. And one other thing that I wanted to talk about that I thought was really interesting was characters have to have a want. We are first watching a movie or reading a book. The main character has to be working towards something. In Shrek just wanted to be alone. All the fairy tale characters were dumped on his land, and he was like, I just want to be alone. I want everyone to leave me alone, and so I can do ogre things and like be an onion, So anyway.
Oh, you both have layers. Oh.
Every character has to have something that they're working towards. And so the thing that Aladdin is working towards is he wants to be someone that's worthwhile. And so he gets to the point where he wants to be somebody who's not, in order to feel like he's worthwhile or to feel like he's enough for Jasmine. So you see it in the beginning when he's kind of looking longingly at the palace and kind of finds out that she's the princess. Then he's like, oh, now I really do need to be more than what I am, because now I want this girl. And so when he meets the genie, that's when he puts his plan into action. So I love that that's what his want is at the beginning of the movie. He wants to basically be something that's worthwhile, or someone who's worthwhile. His need is actually to know that he is worthwhile just being himself. Like, we see that all throughout the movie of like where Will Smith, or the genie, is telling him just to be himself, just to be Aladdin, because like that's who she found interest in when she first met you, not Prince Ali. His need is to be who he is and know he's worthwhile just being Aladdin, just being the street rat that he is. And so I love that because that want and that need is very connected to each other. He wants to be someone more than he is, when really who he is really great, and he just needs to embrace that. And I love that those are like connected wants and needs. Like, it just flows so seamlessly together. So good job, Disney. So anyway, so I hope this was fun, and I hope we can have a discussion about the new live action Aladdin. And did you buy it yet? I did not, but I will be asking for it for Christmas. Blu-ray extended edition or special feature edition. Mom, if you're watching, that's what I would like. And then I hope this was fun. What characters were your favorite? What characters did you kind of feel like fell flat? Or what did you think of Will Smith as the genie? Do you completely disagree? Anyway, I hope this was fun, and if you liked it, give it a thumbs up, comment, as my niece would say, scribe, because she's 5 and like the cutest thing in the entire world. And then also, are you gonna wear your birthday pin the next time you go to Disney, even if it's not your birthday? You totally should, and then you should tell me that you did, and then tell me what you got for free, because it never fails, I promise. We at least get one thing for free every time we wear our Disney pins. See you soon! There he is! Okay, now that you know there's a dog there. And whatever everybody's calling it these days. Who are you wearing? Who are you wearing? Okay, anyway. Costumes, yep, I know that word. Oh, it's not late. I haven't had coffee, but I can't have it anyway, so. And I haven't had anything to drink today, so I don't know where that came from. Adam Sandler, yeah. So, anyway,